Well, welcome everybody. My name is John Paul Lachon. I'm the founder and CEO of Verso Ministries, and I've got with me Rizek, who is a Holy Land guide, one of our guides from the Holy Land, calling in from Jerusalem. So welcome, Rizek. We're glad to have you. And this is our fourth and final Meet the Guide event. We've been walking each week after the Easter season, throughout the Easter season, to meet and speak with some of our favorite guides from the Holy Land. So Rizek, thanks so much for being here. If you want to introduce yourself, that would be lovely.
With the pleasure, John. Thank you. My name is Rizek. Even if you come to my my hometown, Bethlehem, and you say, "Do you know where is Rizek living?" No one will know this name because here they call me Rizek or Rizek even. And by the way, my full name is Rizek George Nazi. Nazi, it's honest, my family name. And there is 5 people have the same name in the same neighborhood, while the middle name is different because, you know, we were following the tradition that they call us after our grandfather name, not father name. So we have, we are 4 uncles and each one of them having Rizek Nazi. We say, you know where Rizek Nazi living? They would say, which one of them?
Well, I only know one Rizek, and
he's the one over here.
Yes, you're a singular person, that's for sure.
So I'm from Bethlehem. I born in Bethlehem, descent from a Christian family, and I work as a tour guide since 5 years. But I work in the field of tourism maybe since 13 years. And what I want to say, like officially, I'm working as a tour guide with a license since 5 years. But if you want to follow the Christians in the Holy Land, you will find that they are all tour guides. What I want to say, I used to take people or show people or explain to people the way to the Nativity Church or where it's located or some small details about the church, even when I was a child, because you are living in a touristic city where everyone will come for this important place and they will ask you, you know, what is the Nativity Church? So directly you have to answer them. So we were, and not only that, you will just trying to do something more, especially if you have the flexibility of speaking English. And since I went to a private school, we spoke English like from young age. So we try to give them more than what they ask. This is the church. Let me take you inside to show you where Jesus was born.
Oh,
you
sure.
see, so like the majority here were like everyone, like kind of a tour guide.
Yeah, great. Well, it's so lovely to be with you. And yeah, we're going to just jump right into our conversation. But if you're joining us on Zoom, you're welcome to put a question in the Q&A section. So on the bottom of your screen, there is an opportunity to submit a chat. You can chat over to us. We'll be monitoring the chat. There's also a Q&A feature. You can ask a question as we talk. Also, we're streaming this live on Facebook. So if you have a question, we're monitoring those comments and questions as well. So please, if you have any questions about the Holy Land, about being a tour guide, about what it's like to visit the Holy Land, that's why we're here today. So this is a great opportunity to meet Rizek and hear from an expert, somebody who lives and breathes everything that we do in the Holy Land. So great. Well, yeah, tell me a little bit. So I know that it was recently Easter for the Eastern churches. So I know this past Sunday was actually Easter Sunday. So I'm not sure that many people know there are 2 different Easter Sundays. So I don't know, could you maybe explain to people listening, if they've never heard of that, there's a Easter Sunday for the Western churches, or there's Easter Sunday for the Eastern churches, why that is, and tell us a little bit more about that.
The answer could go like deeply than this. First of all, in the Holy Land, and maybe Jordan, and part of the Christian, like in Lebanon, Syria, Egypt also, they still following this tradition, Eastern, Western Sunday. I know that in the rest of the world, it's only one Easter. But in this country, they still have 2 of them. Of course, that after the division between the Eastern Church and the Western Church. Before that, we can go to Christmas. You know that we have an Eastern Christmas and there is a Western Christmas. Now, for the Christmas, it is the same date following the church calendar, which it's the 24th of December, while the 7th, it's in the church calendar, it's still 24th of December, but the different of days following the Gregorian and the Julian calendar. Now, the church following a lunar calendar. Lunar calendar, that means we're connecting to the moon. And following this change that happened in the late 16th century, exactly in the year 1582, in the time of Pope Gregory, when the monk told him about the difference of the Julian calendar, which it was, if I'm not mistaken, 11 minutes and 14 seconds, and they found the gap of the days, and they kept the birth of Jesus at the 24th, but the Easter will be different between both of them. So in most of the years, there will be only 1 week between us, which it's mean Catholics start fasting, and then after 1 week, Orthodox will start fasting. And in Catholic Palm Sunday, sorry, in Orthodox, in Catholic Palm Sunday, and then after the Palm Sunday, you will have the Easter Sunday.
Right.
So in Catholic Easter Sunday, it will be Orthodox Palm Sunday. So usually there is only 1 week, but like this year, there was around a month between us. So again, it's depend on the lunar calendar and Gregorian Julian calendar. But what I want to say, that following the church calendar, it is the same date. It is the same date, but again, it's only which churches decide to follow the Eastern one, which churches decide to follow the Western one. Plus, following the important sites like Nativity Church and the Holy Sepulchre Church, it will stay for this forever, because like in the Eastern calendar, or in Eastern in Eastern churches, the Greek Orthodox Patriarch will enter the tomb to bring the holy light on Saturday, while there is no place for other churches to join. And this is it's also connected with the status quo between the churches. The status quo between the churches, the rights between the Christian communities and the churches. So it's also will it also like control the situation.
Right.
It's good. People get used for that. They lived for that since long time.
Yeah, and what you're speaking about, if people don't know what the status quo means, basically that many of these churches in the Holy Land are shared between, different denominations, especially the Nativity Church and the Holy Sepulchre Church. They're shared between different Christian denominations. And so the status quo refers to the way they kind of organize the services, the way that they can share the church, because obviously each denomination wants to lay claim as to when they can celebrate Mass or have their prayers. And so the status quo helps to maintain the schedule throughout the days and the weeks of the year. So
sometimes it's problematic, because like on Christmas time, when the midnight Mass, there is like in the midnight Mass in the Christmas time, following the Eastern calendar, or let's say the Julian calendar, not the Gregorian calendar, you will find the Greek Orthodox, the Syrian Orthodox, and the Copts. Now listen, Copts and Syrian, they are praying on the Armenian altars, because Armenia will celebrate Christmas a year later, a year after. So and they will have time when the Greek Orthodox Patriarchate will go down to the grotto to pray, and then followed by the Syrian, followed by the Copts. Each one has his own limited time, his own prayer, and you might be surprised when I'm telling you, even if they are limited by the object they can use. You can go down with a cross or without a cross, or what you can wear, where to put the chair. And as you mentioned, it's good that there is this kind of status quo to give rights for each one of them. Yeah.
Right. Oh, interesting. Well, tell us a little bit more about, I mean, we spoke last week a little bit about, what it was like to be Christian in the Holy Land. I think one thing we haven't touched upon with any of the guides is that, Christians in the Holy Land the percentage of Christians in the Holy Land has been going down for a long time. I'm not sure how many people realize that. So could you kind of tell us a little bit about like what it's like to be a Christian living in the Holy Land, but also, why have Christians been leaving over the past few decades, and maybe why are Christians like you staying in the Holy Land, even though many maybe family members have left even?
It's a good question, and you can answer this question with like a nice politic way.
Okay.
And as you know, we are living in a very problematic place, and there is Judaism, there is Jewish people, there is Muslims, and there is the Christians. And today the Christians, unfortunately, they are less than 1%. Now, if you see the news, I don't have to tell you, if you see the news, you can see the political problem in this country between everyone trying to control everything.
Right.
And Christians would like to live in peace. But let me tell you the truth. I always say the reason why we are 1%, and maybe if there is a Christian from the Holy Land watching or will watch this video later, they might not like what I'm going to say, but that's the truth. The reason why I am 1% today, because 99% left. There was no reason to leave. They all were having houses, works, but they were looking for better life. I went to the States. 2004, I was in the States. I established small work, business. I loved that place. I loved the people over there. Everyone were welcome to me. But in the end, I didn't forget this country. I stayed there for a few months and then I come back again because I want to be here. And I'm afraid that after 40 years from today, we all will come to Holy Land as visitors, because we were 20% during the 70s. Several reasons. First of all, we can say the mentality. As example, maybe I spoke about that with the groups that came here. You will find the Christian families, most of them are small families. The number of the youth that get married in general, you will find that the percent of the you will find that's my bird. No, you will find the percent of the youth who get married in general, comparing with Jewish and Muslim, they are less. People were looking for a better life. It's good to think about your children. I also have 4 children. I'm thinking of them every time, and I want the better life for them. But in the end, it's not like do that because I know it's better for them in the future, maybe to be in the States, as example. But I'm always thinking of this country. I'm thinking of my church. I'm thinking of my neighbors. I'm thinking of my friends. And I don't want to leave them alone because I know how it feels when you are by yourself. So the why we are 1%, because a lot of them left, a lot of Christian families during 70s, 80s, 90s left this country and established new family. And I'm telling you that a whole family left. So that's the reason. Now the second question, what is my feeling? I'm feeling good. This is okay. Unfortunately, I feel bad because we are 1%. I know it's hard even to increase to 2 or 3% because the competition is very hard, fertility and everything. But I'm not gonna say that living between everyone, it's good. We are living in peace. Everyone love each one. Everyone respect each one. We have no problem. But politically, there is this problem. You know, the checkpoint, people can't go, can't come. Every time there is,
Yeah.
So
well, what I was going to say too is, I was going to say, I mean, even I mean, and the Holy Land has been relative peace for quite a while now, but in the 70s, 80s, it was more, there was more unrest for sure and more violence. So it has changed. But I guess one question I had was, I mean, and I think maybe you've kind of touched on this, but is there kind of a sense of responsibility of Christians who want to stay there to maintain the presence of Christians, to take care of the Christian sites, to welcome the Christian visitor? Like, how much of the Christian population feels a responsibility to stay, to maintain the presence, and feels like they're stewards of the holy sites?
The people who stay today in the Holy Land, the 1%,
Mm-hmm.
they are the one who will never leave.
Okay.
This feeling between all of us, I had never met a family or a friend who was telling me, you know, Rizek, I wish I can immigrate tomorrow. No.
Yeah.
The people who want to leave, unfortunately, they all left. The people who stayed, they decide to stay, and they want to stay, and they will stay. So that's what I'm telling my children even. I told them, listen, this is our land. We will be here. There is no reason to leave. No one is pushing you to leave. All who left, they decide to leave. Listen, the Christian who left Syria, they were pushed to believe.
Sure.
What's happening in Iraq, they were pushed to believe. What's happened over here, they choose to leave. You understand what I'm telling you?
Yes, of course.
There's much different between someone pushing you to leave or you choose by yourself. So the 1% or even less who stay, they are who's gonna stay forever. And they are who's gonna keep holding this light. And I always prayed that this day will never come when we all will come to Holy Land as pilgrims. I know cities, whole cities, where today you will not find even one Christian, and there is. You know, I'm not against anyone. Let's hint. Nain. You know Nain. Nain, it's a small town in Galilee who still exists. You read about it in the Bible. That's the place where Jesus raised the son of the widow. Okay? In Nain, today there is 0% Christian. There's a closed church over there. There is a church that's closed. No one visiting that church.
Interesting.
So,
yeah. Great. Well, thank you. Yeah. Tell me a little bit about, well, obviously, yeah, you're there, you're a guide. You talked about how you've been a guide your whole life, but yeah, what led you? I mean, you didn't come straight out of college and become a tour guide. So what drew you to become a tour guide? What do you like about it? What do you feel like your mission is as a tour guide when you welcome pilgrims to the Holy Land?
Okay. Before being a tour guide, I worked as a bus driver.
Okay.
Tourist bus driver. I used to drive buses with tour guides. And there is two kinds of tour guides in everywhere.
Okay.
There's the one who having a lot of knowledge and don't know how to tell the story.
Okay.
There is the one who having knowledge, but he know how to speak with his people, how to tell the story, how to go everywhere, like to enter to any point. And a lot of time I was driving the bus and I was telling myself, what is he talking about?
Oh no.
What is he talking about? We are at Nazareth and he speaks about his family and his mother. And other things, it's like I'm a Christian tour guide with love and respect. All the tour guides are good. I'm not gonna say no. But my mission, it's like speak about the tradition. Try to explain the people why these things happen. Try to connect them with a tradition. Try to complete this puzzle for them. Why Jesus asked his disciple to collect the rest of the bread pieces after he did the miracle of feeding the 5,000? What was the reason? I need to tell them, to explain for them the importance of the bread in our tradition, how we never threw the bread away. So feeling that I want to spread the word of God, having this kind of honor by holding the Bible by hand, the carpenter having his saw, the doctor having his equipment, my work equipment is the Bible. So there is no honorable job than this one. Even once, I remember my wife, she was telling me, my wife is like, she studied theology and she was teaching in the school Christianity, and she told me, honey, there is only one problem with your work. And I told her, what is it, dear? She say, you're not praying on Sunday. And I look at her and say, okay, listen, I'm not praying on Sunday, I'm praying every day. In my job, there is everyday mass where I'm in that mass. During my job, I'm having 8 hours during the day opening the Bible and speak about Jesus. So the passion, and always I say, when I lose this passion, when it's become a regular job with me, I will stop it and go other place. This is my 7th job, by the way, in life. I work a lot of things. So I feel like it's like kind of honor to work as a tour guide. And I have this charismatic personality. When you can stand in front of like 50 people, look at their eyes and speak. Because sometimes people can't do that. They feel shy.
Yeah.
They have knowledge, but they don't know. They can't stand in front of people and just talk. So
it's a good fit. Yeah, it's a good fit. No, I like your perspective there to say, I mean, you have, yeah, just to make the distinguishing, I mean, because a tour guide really makes or breaks your experience, right? And so you can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you can't communicate it, and not even just communicate it, but communicate it with passion and helping people understand the connections between the facts, the history they might be learning, but to connect it with their hearts, to connect it with their life. I think that's something you do very, very well. That it's not, again, here's this set of facts I'm going to share with you now, but it's bringing in the stories from the Bible. It's bringing in the history, the culture, the understanding of the culture, and how that might impact the way we read the scripture. It's like a whole story that you tell when you're at the sites. So yeah, the best tour guides are the ones that can kind of take all of this very complicated information and tell it in a way that's compelling and meaningful and interesting. And I think that's something that you definitely do with your groups. So great. Well, do you have any, I guess, yeah, I'm just curious as far as, do you have any good stories from being with pilgrims? I'm sure, being with groups basically almost every week of the year until coronavirus hit, of course, but when you're normally working, it's every week or 2 weeks, you're taking a new group. So you've probably been with thousands of pilgrims. Yeah, does it ever get old, number one? Like what kind of keeps it interesting or fun? Like, yeah, tell me a little bit about that.
In every group, there's something new.
Okay.
And people, they are different personality. They are not the same. So some people feel excited too much. Some people don't care about nothing. Some people, and you need to know like your people during your groups, but you don't have to be upset, because sometimes when you know them, you, like as example, you will be speaking, reading, this kind of passion, and you'll find someone far away just taking a picture, even with a whisper, he don't care. And other time, so one funny story, it happened, even I think it's happened like with your group, when we do the way of the cross, usually do it early morning.
Okay.
Is that right?
Correct.
So it's
yes.
like 4 a.m., 3 a.m. It depends about our mass in the tomb. If it's 5 a.m., we have to be there at 3:30. Now, being 3:30 with the lights, flashlights in the old city, sometimes it's scary. And I remember once we were there, and this woman, she came to me and she said, Rizek, I can't pray. told her, why? She said, I can't focus on praying. I say, why? She said, I'm very scared. I say, okay, no problem. I will hold your hand and then you will pray. She said, okay, you're giant. I feel safe. Just stay nearby me. So I walked with her all the way because she was afraid. Other funny story I remember, and it was so funny. It was so funny. We have that lady that she was not crippled, but she can't walk very well. She likes slowly walking,
Okay.
and she had her wheelchair with her. So we used to pull her to every site, and then on the site itself, she used to walk, taking pictures, and then come back for the other place just to win time. And it happened when we were in St. Anne Church, Bethesda, and that's the place where Jesus healed the crippled man. And she left the wheelchair, and in our guiding, we're using the whispers. So whatever I say, people can hear. My people can hear. And I was waiting near the wheelchair while they were having their time to take some pictures, and another group entered, and there was that woman from the next group who looked at my eyes, and she was looking at the wheelchair like, where is she? And I look at her and say like this, it's happened. She's walking again. And my people were laughing, and she were like shocked. Oh, hallelujah, she's walking again. And I yeah, it happened. Everything can happen in the Holy Land. Lot of funny stories.
That's a beautiful story. Well, so fitting that church. I mean, you mentioned it, but St. Anne's is the church of healing. I mean, that's what it's known for.
The same place near Bethesda. Like, this is the place where it should happen if it's have to happen. And she were personally prepared for this answer. She were looking at the wheelchair, and she were like telling herself, is that true? Is there an empty wheelchair over here? Someone was walking. And I look at her and say, yes, it's happened. She started to walk again. There is a lot of good stories. There is a lot of sometimes sad stories when you find people. Like I met this woman. Her name is Nancy, late Nancy. And Nancy was an old woman. And she's like a saint. And when I met her in the airport, she were on the wheelchair and having this like a kind of device for oxygen. She couldn't have clear breathing. And I told her, welcome to the Holy Land. She said, I'm very happy that I'm here, but I feel I'm a little bit late. So sometimes you have this, and I stayed with Nancy for the whole tour. And I helped her and stayed with her. And she's always in my mind. I'm praying for her because she's like a saint. She was so faithful. She having very beautiful daughters. I'm still having a good contact with them every time we talk together. So we have good stories, bad stories. Sometimes people forget their things. Sometimes people lost in the old city. We have to find them to bring them back to the group. Every time there's that funny story. Sometimes people walking in the group, in the crowds. The funny thing, once we had a group with red hats. Okay? So friends, we are 30 people with red hats. It's very easy. Just follow the red hats. Okay? One of my group followed, and they were from the States. Okay. One of my group followed a group of Indian people with the red hats. They say, okay, you find the red hats. You can find they're not your people. It's very easy to understand they're not your people from the way they're dressing, from the language they're saying. He said, Reza, I was just following the red hats. And it took me like 45 minutes. And I found him. I look between the crowds. I see another red hat. I say, surely he's over there. So I'm going to go and bring him over there. It's happened.
Oh, that's funny. Well, you can make light of some of these stories, but I think that the reality is it's really such a privileged place to be, right? To be a guide, and we feel it the same way as people who organize pilgrimages for travelers. It's really a privileged spot because these are very holy places. These are people that they bring. I mean, the whole point of a pilgrimage is you bring your whole self there, right? Like when you go on vacation, the idea of a vacation, typically, many vacations, it's to kind of escape from real life, right? You leave your worries at home, you go to the beach and you hang out and you forget about all your worries. And then when you come home, then you're more relaxed to face the world again. But on a pilgrimage, we're asking you to bring everything with you, because the whole point of a pilgrimage is that you go to these holy sites to learn about your faith, to learn about your life, to transform your life. So you can't leave your worries behind. And in many ways, we ask you to bring your worries with you. And so I've always just felt like as somebody who organizes pilgrimages, it's such a privileged place to be, because like you said, you never know why somebody is there. You never know, what they might be thinking about or praying about. Some things, I remember a story where we did the mass on the boat of the Sea of Galilee with our group one time.
Yeah.
And I remember this because when you're on the Sea of Galilee, there's these big boats, and it was a very windy day. So the wind is blowing, and the priest was having trouble keeping the pages down, and we were worried about the hosts flying away, And I remember after the mass, me and him just looked at each other and we go, why did we do this? This was just a crazy idea. Why did we do this? And then at night, all of our pilgrims just said, that was the most meaningful mass. It was so prayerful. I would do that again every day if I could. And again, you just never know.
Do that again.
Yeah, you never know what might hit a pilgrim. So it's a very privileged place to be.
There is a new experience for everything. Even for me, a tour guide, that's what my first time having the mass on the boat.
Okay.
And I was gonna advise any other people to ask me to do the same. I said, no, listen, we had it once. Let me tell you about the obstacles we're gonna find, like wind, wavy. Sometime other boats will come with their
music,
funny, loud music.
Yeah.
One to chant nearby you. So. And as you mentioned something about the people who organize the tour, usually I say a successful tour depends on three important persons on the tour: the tour leader, the priest, and the tour guides. If these three persons working in harmony together, the whole tour will be smooth. Because sometimes the tour leader will say, Rizek, we want to do X or B or C. If he trusts his tour guide, and tour guide say, listen, John, take my advice. It's not the good things to do because 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
Now, if the tour leader trusts his tour guide and he trusts one thing, that my tour guide would love to give the best he can, he will follow his opinion. If the tour leader say, no, this tour guide is just trying to get rid of that.
Yeah, I'm tired. I want to go home early for the day. Yeah.
So this is when you will start finding obstacles during the tour. So usually, tour leader, if he knows his tour guide, the priest between them, all together, if they work in harmony together, the tour is going to be great. This 8 days will just, from the time we met in the airport till the time we say goodbye in the airport, people will be enjoying every moment. And that's why I prefer that when tour leaders like working with guides and they know them, they know the way they're thinking, they know the way they are working, they already know them, just stay with them. Or stay with this agent as example. Now I know John Paul. I know that this man would like to give his people the best. He wants them to have a spiritual moment in every time. Don't just talk too much. You have to find this 15 minutes for every tour in every place for them to pray. John Paul don't want them only pictures. So I know the way he's thinking. And he know the way how Rizek is working. So this is how the tour can go smoothly. When these two people, I know tour guides and tour leaders, and of course, the tour leader is like, he's the strongest one in the tour. Let me tell you truly. He can say, please replace this guy. And sometimes they replace it in the same day, not even the second day. So if they know how to work together, smooth, harmony, that's the best. That's what we need.
Yeah, we agree. Well, that's how we like to operate. That's for sure. So wonderful. Well, let's transition. So we've been doing this fun session called Stump the Guide with our guides. So I've got it prepared. I've prepared some questions for you. So let me pull up my screen. So the Stump the Guide is, I've got actually 11 questions. I thought I had 10, but I actually have 11 for you. So you get a bonus question. 11 questions. There's no time limit, so you can speak about them and whatnot. I don't think any of these are too complicated. So I'm going to share my screen. Let's see how many of these you can get right. And we'll go from there. So, okay. So first question. Whoops, it went forward. 1 second. All right, here we go. First question. What does the Latin phrase ecce homo translate to?
Oh, it is near the first and the second station. Ecce homo, behold the man. It's one of the political places, yeah.
Perfect. And what site within Jerusalem does this reference to, and what biblical event occurred here?
About the ecce homo?
Mm-hmm.
Again, what site within Jerusalem? Wait, let me try to memorize the pictures. Okay. What site in Jerusalem is this in a reference? And what biblical event occurred there? Okay, this is where Pontius Pilate brought Jesus out to the elders, and he told them, this is the man, behold the man, do whatever you want. And they all were shouting, crucify, crucify. And we can tell from that moment that Pontius Pilate didn't want to put Jesus in death, but they put him in this in this position where if he didn't send Jesus to death, Caesar might send Pontius Pilate to death. So that's over here. Now the reference in the Bible, I think it is in John 19.
Or now you're going for bonus points. We don't need that. We don't need the exact spot. But that's perfect. Okay. That's perfect. Yeah. Great. All right. Next question. What Holy Land site also doubles as Israel's largest source of fresh water?
You have the Sea of Galilee.
Yes.
The Sea of Galilee is considered the lowest fresh water. By the way, Sea of Galilee and the Dead Sea are both of them the lowest spots. Let's say the Sea of Galilee is the lowest fresh water on earth.
Right.
Dead Sea is the lowest, saltiest water on earth. They were connected by the Jordan River in that huge rift valley. We call it the Syrian African Rift Valley.
Yeah, perfect. All right, you're getting all sorts of bonus points here with your extra tidbits of information. Okay, true or false, Mount Tabor is explicitly mentioned in the New Testament.
Mount Tabor, it's explicitly mentioned in the New Testament.
Is it named?
I think yes. I don't remember. Wait. Yes, wait. I think so. Yes, it's only in the New Testament. I don't know if there was anything in the Old Testament. Okay, it was the border, by the way, between the three tribes, Zebulun, Naphtali, and Judah. But I don't remember if it was mentioned.
And more specifically, so we know, if people don't know, Mount Tabor is a site where we visit now to celebrate the Transfiguration. So I guess another way you could ask this question is Mount Tabor named during the story of Transfiguration, that Transfiguration happened on Mount Tabor?
No, there was nothing mentioned Mount Tabor. It was mentioned a high mountain apart. That's why today there is another school believe that the Transfiguration happened in Mount Hermon, which it's above and it is above Caesarea Philippi. Logically, or let's say by distance, it's closer to Caesarea Philippi, because when we read about Matthew chapter 17, when you talk about Transfiguration, when you go to Matthew chapter 16, you start with Caesarea Philippi, and these things it's like going, it's connect together, Caesarea Philippi and Mount Tabor. But since it was written after 6 days, there was a time for Jesus and disciples to move. I'm not gonna go deeply with that because it's like a huge debate about that. But no, the word Tabor was not mentioned. Apart, a mountain apart. Maybe can we go like, wait a minute, keep this question over here. Once you asked the question for a friend of mine, I think it was Rami, and you say which one of the places you would like to add for the tour if you have time.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Having time, I will take them definitely to Caesarea Philippi. Why? And I will do it one day before Transfiguration, because what's happening in Transfiguration is continuously to what was happening in Caesarea Philippi. Matthew 16 and 17 is connect together. So let's go back again for Mount for the second question.
Perfect. Okay. Roughly, how tall is the Western Wall?
In meters, I think it's 470 meters. I don't know, and 1,490 feet or 1,450 feet, something like that.
From
1,400 feet.
How tall?
Tall?
How tall? Yes, yes. You're talking
Oh my God,
length.
John, no one asked this question before. The length, like, I know. I don't know.
20
Full
meters.
length.
Although a lot of the Western Wall is below ground, correct? Isn't that correct?
Of course. What we see, it's
Yes.
only new. What's above ground, like there's 18 feet below ground.
Okay.
And that's the original part of the Western Wall.
Yes, perfect. In the Jewish tradition, why is the Mount of Olives known as the Mount of Unction?
Wait, what's unction mean? I don't know what's unction. What's unction?
So, okay,
Well,
I'll give you a hint. So
let me
unction
translate
means,
unction.
yes, means anointing, basically.
Okay. And also we can connect that with the New Testament, because kings were entered from King's Highway, east.
Okay.
And again, when Jesus entered on the Palm Sunday, he wasn't the first king to enter to the city and welcome from the people like that. So people used to be anointed kings on Mount of Olives, and that's why they call it the Mount of Unction. And kings used to come from east during that way, like the Palm Sunday way, the one that Jesus used.
Yeah. So entering Jerusalem from the east, right? Okay. Good. All right. This. What is this a photo of? And what was the use? Why is it functional? This is a doorway, but where is this doorway found, and why was it built like this?
Okay, this view. What I will have when I open my curtains. I'm living near Nativity Church.
Okay.
And I used to enter from that door without even bouncing my head because I was short and young boy. So this is the place, this is the door that I entered every day in my life when I went to school. When my dad taught me how to go to school, he said, from here you enter, you visit the icon of the Blessed Mother, and then you go to the school. This is the door of humanity where people give respect to the to Nativity Church. You can see above that the Crusader one, the part of the Crusader one, where people could still enter with their camels sometime or horses. There is layers of 3 doors over there. There is another one above them, which is from the 5th century. So this is the gate of humble, where you give respect to the church. And of course, later on, they say that the Ottomans decided to build the gates like this only also to protect the church, to secure the church. Several reasons, but door of humble, where you give respect to Nativity Church.
Great.
I don't know who this is, by the way. It should be from
yes, that's just a photo we found online, but you can get a sense of how low it is. It is quite low. You have to stoop down to get in. So, okay, the name Tabgha is a variation of the Greek name Heptapegon, which translates to what?
7 springs. You know, over there used to be the 7 springs, Heptapegon, and today we still have 3 running springs over there, and that's why. By the way, we know that Jesus used together with disciple in the northern western part of the Sea of Galilee. That's where most of the fishermen used together. And maybe the people who are fishing, they know that fish would love together in the shallow, warm water. Part of these 7 springs were hot springs, and that's where most of the fish were gathered, and that's where fishermen were gathered. So Heptapegon, the 7 springs, and I think 3 of them still running till today. The church of St. Peter Primus is one of them. We saw that separate.
Yeah, so yeah, Tabgha refers to an area, as Rizek mentioned, on the northwest side of the Sea of Galilee. So in some ways you could think of it as a town or an area there, and several
of the area Christians, between several towns. It's come between Capernaum and Magdala.
Yeah.
So it's a fishing and market area. And Jesus used to meet there with people. The parable, the miracle of feeding the 5,000 people happened over there. I think Matthew 13, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. Which three Christian denominations are the main caretakers of the Holy Sepulchre? This is a little bit of a trick question, but what are the three main ones?
Today, you have the Greek Orthodox and the Catholic and the Armenian.
Yes.
Plus, there is a small little rights for, okay, let me put them for you in categories. Greek Orthodox and Catholics and Armenian. Then you will find Coptics. And then the Syrian having only limited rights and on Sunday to pray in one of the rooms, which is behind the tomb. But the three of them is Greek Orthodox and Catholic and Armenian. Those are the people who are having daily masses inside the tomb.
Perfect. And that's kind of what we were talking about earlier about the status quo and the different churches sharing the churches.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Last two questions. So how many gates are built in Jerusalem's old city walls?
They say like today, like our walls today, or old walls, because they were during history, there were only 6 gates.
Okay.
I think today there are 7. Let's name them, it's much easier. We have Jaffa Gate, New Gate, Damascus Gate, Herod's Gate, St. Stephen Gate, and forget the Golden Gate is closed. Then we have the Western Gate and Mount Zion, 7 gates.
Okay, perfect. So yes, you got that right. So the answer we were looking for were 8, including the one that's closed, which leads to my next question. So which of the 8 gates is no longer functional, and what is the gate's significance? Why is it closed?
That's used to be called the Beautiful Gates. This is the place where people used to. They used to open it during the Passover feast, when they have the scapegoat. They have to take it outside from that gate. Today it's called the Golden Gate. People believe that in the end of the day, when Jesus comes to Jerusalem, he will enter through that gate. Now, when they built the walls in the 16th century, 1554, if I'm not mistaken, Suleiman the Magnificent, he insists to build the gate, and later he figured that this gate might be problematic because Christian and Jews will try to enter through that gate during the feast. So, and by the way, if I'm not mistaken, even in Islam, they believe that Jesus will go through that gate at the end of the days. He said, okay, let's close the gate temporarily, and to put the cemetery in front of the gate, since cemetery is considered unpure land for Jewish people, as example. So they will not trying to go even or to come closer to the gate, and that's why they close it. So the cemetery, it's called the Mercy Cemetery, the Muslim cemetery, and the gate connect to each other. The main reason for the cemetery and the gate. Why it's closed.
Interesting. Okay, well you passed your test. Yes, we passed your test with flying colors. You got a lot of bonus points. I don't know how many points you got, but you added a lot of good information too. So thank you. Perfect.
What I wanted to say, okay, we spoke about Caesarea Philippi, and I didn't write the point. There was another thing I wanted to speak about. Okay, for the pilgrims who are going to visit the Holy Land, I know you might ask these questions, but let me like give the answers even before you ask the question, because there is something like to say.
Yeah.
Today, okay, I encourage every Christian to come to visit the Holy Land, and come early when you still have this kind of like good health, because being in the Holy Land, in the pilgrimage tour, again, focus about this word, in the pilgrimage tour, it's a mission more than a vacation. It's not you are in some beach drinking beer and having swimming and sitting under the sun. No, you're coming here for a pilgrimage. John was here, and he know, like, one of the days you will wake up at 3:30 a.m. Yes, you will wake up at 3:30 a.m. and you will walk the way of the cross because you will do it once in your life. I wish that you will do it more, but it's worth it. And being in the Holy Land, it's a mission. Every day you will wake up at 6:30, and you will enjoy that. Believe me. And you will be waiting for it. And when you come back hotel, you will be very tired. You will just take your dinner. You want, I'm gonna tell you, listen, there is a market over here, market over there if you would like to walk at night. But no, just show me the bed. I want to take a shower and sleep. We had people walk 11,000 steps every day. And it's a mission. So do that now when you still have the power to do it. In the end, we as as the local tour guides, the Christian people in the Holy Land, with the efforts of the organizations like John Paul, we will help you no matter in which shape you were. We will all work together because also we feel that this is a mission for us to take you, to bring you from your room, to show you everything. And when we work together, one of our obstacles is like time, because when I read the itinerary and I see the sites, and I have been in Bethesda pool several times. I can be there every time, but you are there once in your life. So what I'm focusing about, I want you to be there, and I want you to be there. I want you to see everything. So that's one of our problems, like with us, time, tour, to fit everything, because we feel guilty if we couldn't cover everything. If I bring you back home and they didn't take you to that place, I feel guilty because
Right.
maybe it's gonna be your like life experience.
Yeah.
Corona infected all of us. I know people in the States lost their beloved, people in the Holy Land lost, and we're still losing our beloved people,
Mhm.
and people still wearing masks. But I was talking with John, and I was very happy to hear that even more than 50% of the people in the state were already having the first shot of vaccine. In Israel, we're also having more than 60% having both of them, and thanks God, it is safe. Maybe 5 months ago, I was telling my wife, I don't know if I'm gonna have the courage to take off the mask and speak with friends freely. But today I was in a meeting. We had a meeting with the tour guides, and I was without mask because it was an open yard. And in Israel now there is a law: if it's open yard, you don't have to use mask. And I felt safe because they all are vaccinated, and me too. So life is going back slowly, slowly. Don't don't afraid. Israel is very safe. Um, Politically, it's not everything that you see in the news. Drone was here. Sometime you will wake up in the morning and say, Rizek, we read about problems, shooting, I don't know, but nothing in the street. I say, yes, it's too far, it's too safe. I encourage everyone to come here. First. Second, don't forget that the 1% in the Holy Land, 50 or 60% of them working on tourism, and they are depending on you when you are here. We are tour guides, we are bus drivers, we are working in hotels, we're working in restaurants, and and you like John Paul work with the Christian tour guides, Christian bus drivers, went to Christian hotels, Christian restaurants. Even when we go to gift shop, we are supporting, you are supporting them in all that. So I encourage you to come. People depend on you, they are waiting for you. They have this kind of hunger for tourism to come back, especially a city like Bethlehem. Our main income was tourism. So we always pray to see you soon.
Yeah, thank you. Well, we did have a couple comments. So a couple people, it seems like they traveled with you previously. So Janet Russell says hello. She was there in November 2019. Kathy LaRusi from the Poland trip says hello. And then we did have a question kind of going back to our discussion about Christians. So one person, Beth, asked, if only 1% of the population is Christians, and if the Christians left, who would maintain the churches and the holy sites?
Catherine, the 1%, it's like, when we say there's between Palestine and Israel, there's around 12 million. The 1% is 120,000. So there is people to maintain the churches. There is people to go to the churches. You still find churches, but again, In cities like Naim, there is no one. But
Yeah.
there is a lot
Well, and
of
there's
monks,
ways.
priests,
Yeah.
and there is 120 people. There is 120,000. We are here. Israel is very small. Israel is a small country, and the majority of the Christians lived in Nazareth and Bethlehem. They are the capital of the Christians between Israel and Palestine. So there still is.
Yeah, and what I would add to that, there's several orders of Catholic priests and sisters, brothers that all have a strong presence in the Holy Land. So obviously, everybody knows the Franciscans. A lot of people know that the Franciscans oversee a lot of the holy sites in the Holy Land, and so even if the local Christians potentially, if they left for whatever reason, there's still international support from Christians that have a presence there. So the Franciscans, for instance, they have a international presence, and so even to the point of I don't know how many people realize this, but on Good Friday, we always do a collection in the churches around the whole world. They do a Good Friday collection for the Holy Land. So if you've ever been to your liturgy on Good Friday and you hear about there's a collection for the Holy Land, that money on Good Friday goes to people like the Franciscans who are taking care of the churches.
And the Franciscans, for instance, they're not only taking care of churches, they're taking care of the Christian communities. As example, you will find, because the beauty of the Christian orders in general, Franciscan in specific way, they're focusing on the community. People need churches to pray, schools to study, hospitals. So you will find a school, a Franciscan, like a Catholic school run by the Franciscan in most of the cities that having Christian population. I studied in Franciscan school. My children went to Franciscan school, Terra Santa school. You will find Terra Santa school in Nazareth, in Haifa, in Bethlehem, in Jericho, in Jerusalem, and everywhere you will find the Terra Santa school run by the Franciscans, where mixed population. You will find mixed. You'll find Jewish. You'll find Muslims and Christian in the school, but Franciscan, from the beginning, they were focusing about people need to be educated. So churches, hospitals, and schools.
Yeah. Well, and Beth had a follow-up. So she did ask, do your children feel safe identifying as Christians among their friends?
Yes. Again, Beth, I mentioned that before. The reason why we are 1% over here, no one push us outside. Nothing happened here like what happened in Iraq or in Syria, as example. No. We feel safe. We feel respectful. People respect each other. I'm working in a company now, temporary, between Muslims, between Jewish. I'm a Christian. We don't feel that division between us. We all are the same. We respect each other. My children have the same. Their friends are Muslims. Their friends are Jewish. They are playing together. They are studying together. They feel safe. And we are encouraging them that no matter what's happened, just stay over here. This is our land. And I'm telling you, I already mentioned that the 1% who stayed, they are going to stay forever because they have the opportunity to leave and they decide to stay.
Sure. Yeah. Sure. Good. Well,
but
we're
always
wrapping
keep
up
your prayer.
I'm sorry?
Always keep, when we pray for everyone. Always keep this small community in your prayer, like God will strengthen them and keep them over here.
Yes, definitely. Great. Well, one last person, Krista, who was with you with the Notre Dame group, says hello. So Krista wants to say hi. Great. Well, yeah, as we're wrapping up, I know we're kind of coming at the end of our time here. So a couple of things I wanted to share. If any of you want to hear from Rizek, get more updates, you certainly can find him on Facebook. So if you want to send him a message, you're welcome to. If you have a question, a follow-up, I'm sure he'd be happy to answer it.
John, look at my beautiful smile.
I posted
read
this
your
picture
comments.
yesterday. I said, Rizek, the man who never smiles in photos, because he's always so serious. So great. And yes, I'll just, you said it so well, Rizek. I don't think I need to say it even more than that, but invite everybody. If you are interested in going to the Holy Land, we would love to help you get there. We have departures starting in September of this fall. I know we didn't get quite into the details about the borders opening, everything like that, but Israel has started to make a plan for reopening. So they're not yet open for tourism, but initially it was end of May. Now it looks like it's going to be more like end of June where they're going to start welcoming groups back. But they are working, they're very interested in making sure that people can get back, that they can come safely and travel through the Holy Land again. So if you have any questions, if you're interested in a pilgrimage with us, you can head to our website. You've got my email here, phone number. We're happy to navigate any additional questions that you might have. But as Rizek said, I think this, the Holy Land is an opportunity that, personally, I think every person of faith should go to the Holy Land at some point in their life. We grow up going to church. We hear about these stories. We hear about Bethlehem, Nazareth, Jerusalem, and sometimes I think we forget that these are actual places you can visit. And so I just always encourage people, when you have the opportunity, to make it a priority, to say, this is different than, again, like we've said, it's different than going on a vacation. It's more meaningful. It will bring life to your
Yes.
life coming back home.
The word life, is the perfect word, because you read the Bible, but when you're in the Holy Land, you will live the Bible. You will walk where Jesus walked. And it's totally different. And as you mentioned already, once in your life, you have to do this pilgrimage. This is like the Holy Land. Every Christian have the right to be over here and to see these sites, to pray on these sites. And John, like we have good connections. We have masses in the prime locations.
Mm-hmm.
In Nazareth, we pray in the Annunciation. In Jerusalem, we pray inside the Holy Sepulchre Church. In Nativity, we pray near the grotto. So like again, choosing before you go to the Holy Land, you need to know with which agent I'm gonna go, because that's, again, John, we were praying in the main church of Annunciation. Other group might pray like, it's about connections, about the team who's working. There's a big team working for the tour to make it go smooth and success. There's people calling every time, 24 hours. During your tour, you will be taking pictures. Others will be making phone call to make sure that the lunch is ready. No time, you will not be late. Your food will be ready. It's a fresh. Your mass will be on time. Everything. So there is people working for you. Like, again, I'm a tour guide, and I have worked with several agents, and I know the difference between them. You should think and choose the one who can give you the best. It might be your life experience. So make it the best.
Thanks. Well, I appreciate your words, Rizek. So we
With
enjoy
pleasure.
working with you. Certainly we'll keep you in prayer. We're just thankful for everybody who joined us. Hope to see you again soon. So thanks for everybody for coming. Hope you can join us in the Holy Land. And Rizek, I hope you see you again very shortly. Prayers of you and your family.
Yes. Hope to see you soon. Okay.
Okay. Thank
It was
you.
a pleasure
Goodbye.
to meet you. Thank you, John. Bye.
Bye.